This lesson is for FST Lesson 3.6 on scale changes of data. It's important for students to look back at their notes for translations of data when we added A to the measures of center but did not add them to the measures of spread. When you scale change data, you will multiply by a number, and the measures of center will be affected by a factor of A, and so will the measures of spread with one exception. The measures of spread will get multiplied by A except for the variance, which gets multiplied by A squared. And we'll talk about why when we do a calculation here momentarily. The book does a lot of assuming in this lesson that students know how to do or calculate a percent of increase. So here's a little bit of notes for students on how to do that. When you're trying to find the percent of increase between two numbers, you simply subtract the numbers and then divide by the original number. So for example here we have 161 increasing to 298. If I want to know the percent of increase, I would subtract those two and divide by 161. So that's a percent increase of 85%. So it's just a little tutorial for students on how to calculate a percent of increase. Also, in the homework, students continually ask for help regarding question number 2. So I have for you here the setup for the question. You're going to set it up as a proportion of two equal fractions with cost in 2005 divided by cost in 1965. That's going to be set equal to the Consumer Price Index, or the CPI information in 2005 divided by the CPI in 1965. Students can gather that information from page 185 in their textbook. They'll be able to look for a table that has CPI data information listed. Students will fill in most of the numbers here and then cross-multiply to solve for the one that's missing. So our focus today is on scale changes of data. When you scale change data, you'll multiply by a number. The measures of center and spread are both affected by that scaling. Whatever number you're multiplying the data by, you should multiply the mean, the median, and the mode by as well. Same thing for the measures of spread. All of those get scaled by the same piece of data, except for the variance, which gets multiplied by A squared. To illustrate this, we're going to look at question number 4 in the textbook. Question number 4 says, consider the candy sales in example 2. Suppose that a box costs $5 instead of $2.50. For the money collected, calculate each of these 6 statistics. Then draw a box plot of the amounts collected. So I went back to example 2 for students and copied the data that they're going to need. This list of data represents the number of boxes that were sold by students. And this is your original data. Then they sold the boxes in example 2 for $2.50 a box. We don't need that information at all. It has no bearing on what we're going to calculate. We need to know how many boxes they sold and how much they're going to sell them for. They tell us in question 4 that they're going to sell them for $5. So our original list, which represents how many boxes each kid sold, needs to get multiplied by 5. If we multiply all the numbers by 5, that'll be our new list, and that will represent how much money each kid made by selling that many number of boxes. So for example, to find out the minimum amount of money that this kid sold by selling 27 boxes, we would just take 27 times 5. He made $135 selling 27 boxes at $5 each. And so technically we should do that to the whole list, but I don't know that that's entirely necessary, since we can utilize some of the already completed calculations and the notes that we use today to try to help us save some time. So let's look at what they want us to actually do. They want us to calculate these 6 things, and some of those things were already calculated in example 2 in the book. In fact, they calculate the median, the mean, and the standard deviation. They've already done that for the boxes collected, for the list that we have here on the right. So their median was 38, and that's again of these numbers here. The mean was 37.8, and the standard deviation was 5.89. So we can utilize that information to answer our question for 4A. Let's jump right into the median. The original list has a median of 38. To get the median of the new list, we would simply multiply by 5. So we're going to do 38 times 5 to find the new median, which represents how much money they collected. So that's going to be 190. We'll do the same thing for the mean. The original mean of the list that we have is 37.8. To find the mean of the new list, which represents how much money they made, we would simply multiply by 5, and for that we get 189. Let's jump down to the standard deviation. Standard deviation is 5.89. To find the standard deviation of the money they collected, we would again simply multiply by 5. So we get 29.45 for the new standard deviation of the scaled data. We need to talk for a moment about variance, because that is another piece that we're going to need to answer. The variance, remember, is step 4 in the process of finding the standard deviation. So once you've done the first 4 steps, you'll have the variance, and then to go on to the standard deviation, you would square root. So if we're going in reverse, we would need to square the standard deviation to give us back the variance. So the variance is 589 squared. And when we do that, we get 34.69 approximately. So if we're doing the variance on our scaled data, we would take the variance originally, 34.69, and we'd multiply not just by 5, but by 5 squared. And again, it's because the variance already has been multiplied by 5, so the variance has been multiplied by 2 of those. And so when we're done there, we get 867.3. So then the only other pieces of information we're going to need here are to figure out the range and the mode. Those pieces were not already calculated in example 2, so we'll have to figure those out on our own. We have 2 options for figuring out the range, and I think what would be the easiest is simply to take the original data and find the range there, and then multiply our answer by 5. And when you do that, you get 115. So that one's an easy fix. Rather than multiplying both of the numbers by 5 and then subtracting, we can subtract the smaller numbers and then do a simple multiplication. For the mode, we want to look at the amount of boxes that appears the most often. Unfortunately, there are multiples of those. We have 4 modes on this question. And so again, to list our answers here, we would want to take all the modes and multiply them by 5. So I've gone ahead and done that over here, and so then I'll just list those for my answer. 160, 175, 205, and 220. So now I've accomplished my answer for part A. For part B, draw a box plot of the amounts of money collected. So just a quick reminder here for students on calculating the 5-number summary. That's what you need in order to make a box plot. And so a quick reminder here that you need the min and the max, which we already have, 135, and then the max is just going to be 250. Then we need the median, and we can identify the median very easily here at 38. There is only 138, and so scaled, that number is the number 190. So that's the median. We have the min and the max. We still need to find quartiles 1 and 3. For that, I already have the answer down below, so let's take a look. So remember that to find quartile 1, you'll find where the median is, and then you'll count to the middle of those. In this case, I am going to include the median in my count just to make things a little bit easier. So I'm going to count, there are 9 things including the median, so that gives me the 5th thing is the quartile that I'm looking for. So I count to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's quartile 1. Do the same thing on the lower half, count to the 5th number down, and that's going to be quartile 3. So now that you have your values, go ahead and make a box plot of those. When you make a box plot, you always do a number line with a regular and uniform scale. I chose to go by 20s. Know that you can also go by other values, including 10s or 5s or 50s. And then you simply mark where all those values are in your 5-number summary, and then you make it look like a box. Make sure you also include a title.